Well, a few big changes. One of the ones we've talked about is we're moving away from this being the standard entrance. Marco, tell me, what are we up to?
That's right, it's exciting times here at Baypark Speedway, Steve. So we've got a whole new entranceway, so they will be coming here after the ticketing booth. They'll be entering into what we're called the new family zone. That's right, a family zone now being created, of course, basically for the fans and the families here.
Tell me, Marco, the family zone, what is that going to entail?
That's right, so in there's going to be a few drivers with their cars. You'll be able to get up close and personal, take selfies with them. They'll be selling merch as well. There's going to be barbecue areas laid out for families and the young children. We're going to have games in there on the opening night. We've even got NZME, which is the radio station. In fact, it'll be the hits that are going to be down here doing live crossover promotions for everyone, for the drivers, games, all that kind of stuff as well.
Marco, one of the things you mentioned to me a little bit earlier on was a change in ticketing.
That's right, there is a change in ticketing now. We've partnered up with this amazing local group called Flickit, and what you'll be able to do this season, folks, is actually buy your tickets online. That's right, pre-purchase all your tickets for every event. That's all 14 events. So what that means, Steve, like on fireworks night and on the demolition derby, when there's lines all packed out here, if you've got your ticket, you're going to get in just a little bit faster than everybody else, but you will still be able to buy tickets here at the booth as well.
Well, there we go. Looking forward to it. Opening night of Baypark Speedway. Myself, Steve, Daniel, Marco. I can't wait. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to all of it though, but the North Island Sprint Car Championships, that's going to be happening. The New Zealand Saloon Cars as well.
That's a big one. Can't wait. With the Saloon Car
Champions. Yes, and the Bay of 20 title for the F2s. They're here as well. We've got lots of stock car action. The midgets are down with the Midas midgets. And you know what? So much is happening, including the track as well. So I'm just going to sneak over to Mr. Rodney Wood because he's going to tell us all about the changes here at Baypark Speedway. So a key to a good night here at Baypark Speedway and a good meeting is having a good track. And the man that stepped up to help us out last season was the one and only Rodney Wood, sprint car champion and now part of the track preparation team here. And there's a lot of changes to be made and a lot of things happening here, but I'm not the one that's going to explain that. So we're going to have a quick chat now with Rodney to find out what's happening. Rodney, thank you for joining us here today. So obviously a lot of changes happening here at Baypark Speedway, and one of the main things that everybody wants to know about is what's happening with this wall.
Yeah, okay, so we're, for years sort of people have talked about, oh, the place needs more banking, and we kind of, as a purist type racer, I guess I've taken that on board too, and so we are raising the banking here a little bit. So to be able to do that, we've got to comply with Speedway New Zealand regulations, where you've got a minimum of 1 metre from the clay racetrack to the top of the wall. So to raise banking, we've got to raise the wall, and we can't really lower the pole line, which would be the other option, because we've got all the concrete here from the drift racing. So that's a harder task to do it that way than raising the wall. So we're lifting the wall up 300 millimetres. Ideally, I would have liked to have gone a lot more, but again, there's compromises. We've got to stay with certain, we'd have to start messing with the fence and raising the fence, and it just as a whole snowballs a whole lot of things. And the other thing probably, crowd could get compromised if we get the wall too high, you know, then you've got to raise everybody's seat. So
yeah, and talking about the crowd too, Rodney, effectively, so they come in, so their seats are obviously not going to move. Is this banking going to affect their vision and their view of the speedway track themselves?
No, it won't change anything because the clay level's coming up as well. So, and like I said, we're only going up 300. But that'll just help make the place more raceable. And at the moment, turns 3 and 4 tends to sort of be a bit of a one-lane racetrack a lot of the time. That down low is the fastest way around. And, you know, I watched the V8 supercars last weekend, and it was all ho-hum going around following each other, and it wasn't until Gizzy started making some passes at the end and they were too wide for 2 corners, and everybody gets excited. Well, we can have that every night at Speedway with guys running 2 wide, 3 wide, all at equal pace, getting around the track, you know. Whether you're in a mini stock or a 6-shooter, stock car or a sprint car, you know, it'll work for everybody. And probably more so some of those cars with less power, that a little bit more banking on the outside will help hold them and help them keep their momentum and keep their speed up. So we're on a really hard base course here, and then some of it is concrete underneath. And we worked in with the drifter guys that were wanting to take the clay out for doing their show, and they needed to get some off site. So it all just kind of rolled into opportune time, as in take some of that clay out, and we found a site for that. So we worked in with them, took the clay out that needed to come out, and then we thought, well, it's an opportune time to do the wall as well, because we need to keep some clay to help fill that corner. So we would have had to take more clay away if we didn't raise the wall. So raising the wall is a cost, but we save some cost of taking some of the clay away, if that makes sense.
Tell us about the clay that has been taken away. So we know that it's been here a long time, probably since the inception in 2001. Yeah. So what was happening with that clay itself, and why was it affecting the track?
Yeah, well, it's been in here for 20 odd years, and it's starting to kind of get worn out and refined, and just it didn't bind as good as I believe it used to in the early years, and doesn't have the stickiness of the early years. And it's, I think from all the years of it getting flipped and turned with the drifters coming in, pulling it out, and stones that get in it from off the walkways, and had a lot of debris and stuff in it. So if we get rid of the older stuff, and we're really just talking the top layer, taking that top layer off and putting a fresh layer in on top. If we just put a little bit in, well then that's quickly going to blend with what's already there, and you kind of defeat the purpose of it. But if we can have a fresh cap all the way around, then that's what we're playing with, and that's what we're working with that whole time. So yeah, it's fresh clay that's coming out of Paddy Tonga, which is where the original stuff come from. The thing I like about the terracotta is when it is done right, we don't get any tyre wear. And you know, you can go to some racetracks and burn up 5 tyres in a race night, whereas here you can run the same tyres week in, week out, because it just doesn't wear the tyres. So if there's good moisture in it, and the clay's in good condition, so the stones were probably making it start to wear the tyres a little bit, but this fresh clay will help keep our tyre wear down. But the big thing is it's going to help keep the dust down.
And that's the million-dollar question. And of course, tyres as well at the moment, with so much issues or problems with tyres coming in and imported and all that kind of stuff. That's going to really help with the drivers and the teams. But let's talk about that million-dollar question, Rodney, dust. It's been an issue here. Now, I know for one, I can't prepare a track. It's a hard job, and we are thankful for you to be able to do it. Now, dust is always going to be around. It's Speedway. Yeah. What are we looking at maybe with this new surface?
Yeah, well, I think you'll notice that since I took over last year that, you know, we've brought the dust level right back to you know, the minimum, and I think with the fresh clay on again we'll have less dust again. It's dirt racing, you'll still get a little bit of dust because that's the nature of it, but we're going to cut that dust way back, and you know, we're going to have more of a sticky clay that will, especially, you know, you get turns 3, turns 4, coming off turn 4, the cars all tend to slow down and spin the wheels a lot, which is right near the hot dog stand, and it's right where most of the crowd are. And if we can put this in and do what we're doing here, that'll help keep the dust down.
Perfect. So how long do you think this whole process is going to be for you guys to be able to get this track prepared? Practice day is October 15th. We're currently in the middle of September. A lot of work for you. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and we're under a bit of pressure, but we're getting the stage done. We want to get this half poured next week, and then we'll do the second half end of next weekend, get that poured, and then we're starting to bring the clay in. So yeah, you know, we'll get the clay in here all right and get it rolled in, and we need some good weather to do that. And as we start to get into these spring days, hopefully we get some good weather to do that.
The second million-dollar question that we got for you here. So we're lucky with Trust Power Stadium here at Baypark Speedway. Many different events happen, including the drifting. And you can see from underneath that most of this is actually concrete on one side of the track. Does it affect the way the track's prepared, or that you can race the Speedway cars on here?
Not a lot. There's a few areas there on the straights where our clay was pretty shallow over the concrete, and they haven't been taking out enough there in years gone by. But we are getting that removed this year, so making sure that that's right. But the base course that's, you know, to the pole line, that's as hard as what the concrete is anyway, so I don't believe the concrete really causes us any real issues.
That doesn't cause any issues with moisture or keeping water in or anything like that at all?
Nah. If you have a look, you can swing around with your camera and have a look over there. There's big puddles there at the moment anyway where the water's holding, so the base course is almost like concrete. It's been a real team effort, and we've tapped on a few shoulders. First off, I want to thank Colin Amron and his guys. He got stuck in at the get-go. Mark Dickey teed him up a couple of guys to help out, and they helped truck a lot of clay away. So that was much appreciated. And then we've got a crew of boys here that are working away, starting to get some steel in the wall here now. And big thank you to Matthew and the guys from Slab Solutions. And then Stocky with his building business, he's got a few of his boys here today. We'll probably have a different team of a few different guys next weekend. And also to that, we want to thank J Swaps. So Dan Pollock from J Swaps has been really good to us with lending us machinery, and they're helping with excavating the material out of Paritonga. And Daltons are helping to truck it over as well. So without those guys, you know, we wouldn't be able to do it. And obviously with Bill Buckley and his team and you guys in promotion, you know, he's got the capacity to help make this happen as well. But one other really important thing to say is that we want to say a big thank you to Bob Clarkson for a donation that he's made into us doing the extension to the wall, and to Morris Cowling and the team at ITM for help sponsoring some materials and stuff in there as well. So we appreciate those guys. They've done magic for us.
We appreciate it. It's great to still have Bob Clarkson's name actually still around here in 2022, considering it's been 22 years. Now let's talk about that red beast, the Macau Poultry Farms number 51M. Hopefully going to be a 1NZ again this year. What's happening with the team? Is there a new setup? What's happening with the package? You're such a busy man, doing the track, doing your family. Does the car get kind of left out?
Yeah, sometimes maybe during the season it probably gets second fiddle to the racetrack a little bit, which is a little bit of a shame. But no, we've worked early on the car to have it ready. We're running just the same gear as last year, same chassis and combo there, but that'll be ready to go. It's nearly ready. It's just got some last sign writing to do, so we're ahead on that so that we're not under the pump trying to have a racetrack ready and a race car ready.
Now, I've watched you for years, Rodney. I've watched you at the 51, I've watched you as the 1NZ, I've seen you at the Springs, I've seen you down here. One thing I did notice after you took over the track prep as well was that new vibe or that new speed that you found in the car as well, that new love for the sport again. It's sort of like a relive of that love. So this season, a lot of events. The North Island Sprint Car Championship is here as well. That's going to be a big one. The Piston Cup, some great stuff happening.
Yeah, looking forward to North Island Champs, and you know, I think the next first few meetings we're going to have the opening night and the fireworks night. Springs aren't running both those nights. You're going to see all those sprint car guys want to come here, get a taste of the new racetrack, what it's like, so that they have a heads up what they're in for our North Island Champs. So, and you'll get the same with the saloon guys. A whole lot of guys are going to come here and do some testing. They got a New Zealand Champs in early January. So, you know, check out the calendar for all those great events that are coming up.
Absolutely, and the vibe already that's happening with Baypark Speedway, it's definitely lifted, it's moved in a completely different direction. You can see that on social media, and you can see people already interested in buying tickets. It must be good to see Baypark coming back to where it was.
Yeah, and you know, anybody that's probably in the early 20s doesn't know much about the initial early years of Baypark here. And you know, we had a pretty vibrant speedway in those early years, and my passion is to get it back to those days. We want to pack the place out. It's got 17,000 seats in here, so we want to see it, you know, the stadium's getting filled up again and back to the good old days of really good racing, really good entertainment, people enjoying the place and getting the max out of it.
It's exciting to see all the changes that are going to be happening. If people want to keep following for updates, they'll be able to see all that sort of stuff on your social media page. What's your page called?
Yeah, Rodney Wood Racing. There'll be some bits on there, and we'll share it with the Baypark page as well, and you guys will be doing your bit. But, you know, I want to say thank you to the new promotion team that's really starting to make the place happen here as well, and you and Melissa and all the team really starting to kind of get it kicking into gear and taking it up a level.
I've spoken to a lot of people, fans, other teams, drivers as well. There's one person you actually forgot to thank in that list, because you can't, because it's yourself, Rodney. Fans have been telling us, they've been sending us messages and that. They really appreciate, just like us, we appreciate the hard work, the dedication, what you put into Baypark Speedway. We just want to say thank you for everything that you're doing. And with you and with everybody else, we will promise to make sure that we work together to get this place back to where it belongs.
Yeah, well, you know, this place is breaking my heart really over some years where it just wasn't happening. And, you know, we had a poor racetrack to race on. It was dusty, and I just wanted to see it get back to its glory days. And, you know, one of the things that probably motivated me, I had a huge crash here a couple of years ago. It was so dusty I couldn't see where I was going. Well, you know, we're getting that dust behind us now, and we're moving on to good times. Perfect.
Well, good luck for the season, Rodney. Thank you very much. Good luck with the track prep and everything, and we look forward to seeing it all come together this season, and 1NZ back on that Macau Poultry Farm number 51.
Well, it might be easier building a wall than getting a 1NZ, but we'll give it our best shot, see what happens.
Nice work.
Thank you.
So another exciting change here is how the actual Speedway is going to be viewed. And of course, I'm here with Speedway Manager Melissa Webb that's just going to explain some of the changes that are going to be happening in the stands for the fans. So thank you for joining us here, Melissa. So obviously there's going to be a new way to view it and things happening behind us with the grandstand. What are we doing here?
So what's happening is we're actually going to condense the crowd this coming season. We're going to block off this half of the stadium behind me. We're going to have some temporary fencing going up. And that gives us an opportunity to showcase our new sponsors that are coming on board. So this area will all be scrummed and all the crowd will be now condensed to this area here.
And why would we do that? Why are we condensing it when it's such a big grandstand anyway?
Well, we're looking at creating a little bit more atmosphere, and everybody loves to make new friends at events. So we're looking at making Speedway great again.
So obviously it's going to create a whole new atmosphere, a new vibe, and everybody's going to be together in one side. It's going to look good too on TV and on pay-per-view, isn't it?
Oh, that's right.
How are you feeling about the season coming up? You're excited, 14 big events, it's your second season. There's obviously a great vibe happening all over the internet and all that kind of stuff. Are you excited? Are you happy with how things are going at the moment?
Oh, I am extremely so. We've actually had sponsors contact us to jump on board. I mean, we're in one of the most beautiful parts of the country in Tauranga.
So great to hear there from Melissa. A lot of exciting changes happening here at Baypark Speedway this season. 14 big events on the calendar, and of course you can find out the race schedule by going onto our website, which is bayparkspeedway.co.nz. And that's what you're going to do, folks. The only place for pace. We're going to get you to bring the noise to what's going to be a great year here at Baypark.
Well, you've seen it, you've heard it, there's only one more thing to do. Labour weekend, that is the time to come along here, Macau Bay Park. What have we got?
It's going to be a big night, and I'm talking huge. We've got the Midas Midget All-Stars as well as the South Pacific Super Saloon Series. That's going to happen. Well, actually, it's a championship. So there you go. A cup can be won here at the Bay Summer Starter on the 22nd of October. But Steve, the week before, it's practice day, and guess how much it costs to get in?
Oh, $25, $30?
No, it's going to be free for you to come on down. You'll be able to check out the new cars, come up close and personal with the drivers. Steve will be able to practice his commentary. It's the perfect time to do it. The Bay Summer Starter. You buy your tickets at bayparkspeedway.co.nz. That is bayparkspeedway.co.nz. Lots of other stuff's happening on the opening night too. Super Saloons, your favourite class?
Definitely my favourite class, my favourite place to be here, Baypark Speedway, the Bay Summer Startup. It's Labour Weekend Saturday. We'll see you there.